Hello everybody, it's me Billy Speedforce Productions, and welcome to another movie review, I guess. And today, as you can tell by the title of this video, we're finally going to be doing a review on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. You know what I mean. I was meant to do this when the movie initially released back in April, but as you know, I was away from YouTube, taking some time to myself and all that, and I figured, let's give this review what it needs. We need to give this a proper review, and I'm gonna do it just like how I did the movie 1 re-review. And basically, you're gonna see like little snippets of footage, you're gonna see little snippets of screenshots, and you're gonna see snippets of me. So yeah, it's basically gonna work the same way. So with that said, let's just get into this. Full disclaimer for this review, there's going to be some talk about spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, I recommend that you watch the movie first before watching this review, just so you can get context and not be spoiled by me of what you haven't seen of the movie. But if you have seen the movie, then enjoy the review. So, leading up to the release, I was really looking forward to the movie. I've said my thoughts on a couple of things, I've said my hopes, and yeah, we're gonna get into that. And I've seen this movie like 3 times in the cinema. I saw it once with a bunch of friends on Discord. I watched it once through, I'll admit it, a HD rip with my mum. I believe that's it. I believe that's all I've really watched of the amount of times I've watched the movie. So that's about 5 times I've watched it. And of course, I have the DVD and Blu-ray. Yeah, it's it comes with different things. You can't really tell on the thing there, but the DVD one, it came with like a sticker book, a bunch of stickers, and an activity book. Whereas the Blu-ray, it didn't come with that. Oh well, I'm not too lost about it. But yeah, I was really looking forward to the movie. I was loving the trailers, I was loving the posters. I was excited to hear Colleen in her first ever feature-length movie. I was really excited to hear Idris Elba as Knuckles. Ben Schwartz coming back as Sonic was great. Jim Carrey coming back as Eggman. I was looking forward to seeing more of him. I was just really excited for the movie. It was like my second most anticipated movie of the year. And yeah, when the movie came out, I saw it day one, the UK release, which was on April 1st. A bit weird, but roll with it. And yeah, I was just enjoying the movie. Like, it was a lot different than what I thought the sequel was gonna be like. Like, I remember I made a prediction video of how I thought the plot would go. I think I got a couple of things correct in that, but not everything in that predictions video was 100% correct. And I'm actually glad that I wasn't correct on everything, because I think what we got in the end would have been a much better movie. One of my hopes for the movie was to see more of like the Sonic characters and less of the human characters that were in the first movie. And that wish was fulfilled. Most of the time we saw Sonic, we saw Tails, we saw Knuckles. Eggman counts as a Sonic character even though he's a human. Basically, if it wasn't a character that wasn't in the games, then I wanted to see them less, and of course that's what we got. The story to the movie, it was really, really interesting how they went with it, because you could tell that there was a lot more lore to the Sonic series in this movie than there was in the first movie. Like the mentions of the Chaos Emeralds, the Master Emerald, the Echidna tribe, how Tails knew about Sonic and his past life before meeting Sonic. Knuckles being the last surviving Echidna. Basically, like, all the little details surrounding like the lore of the Sonic the Hedgehog series is something that I've always loved about these movies. Like, even though the first movie didn't have too much of it, at least the sequel actually makes up for it. I like to say that the first movie walked and the second movie could run. That's how I love putting it with this movie. The characterizations, Sonic, he felt a bit different than he was in the first movie. Like, this one feels more like more like how Sonic is in the games, but of course still has like what made the movie Sonic unique to this series of films, like his referencing of pop culture and things that are like in the real world and all that. It was a nice change to see him progress in the film and become the hero that we know him as in the games. Like seeing him take on like Eggman again, and even going through things that Sonic previously went through in the games, like the snowboarding section in the movie, that was really cool. I really like that scene. Seeing Tails in this movie, Tails is absolutely adorable. I love Tails. I love every single bit with Tails in it. I like that he's shy at some points, that he doesn't think he's as good as a hero as Sonic is, much like how it was initially in the original Sonic games, up until like say Sonic Adventure 2. Like this is the most accurate depiction of Tails in like quite some time, because like the games recently haven't really got Tails correct, and I'm just glad to see that Tails is acting the way he should be in the games. Tails having like the fear and the dance-off bit, yeah, it made sense, because like Tails doesn't look like he's that kind of dancer, and he's new to the human world. It just makes sense for his character in that sense. But say if it was something that he was established that he could dance, or he's been in a dance-off before and he just got scared, maybe I would criticize it a little bit. But because like he's never done it before, and it was, of course, he was on the human planet, which he was on for the first time, I say it's justified. And plus, the bit where he's explaining how, like, what was his life while growing up before knowing Sonic, and I just love that they actually included that, like, information that's like Tails just didn't really have any friends, which I know how that feels. Yeah, Knuckles in this movie, oh my god, Knuckles, he is so good. Like, we haven't had this version of Knuckles in like a very long time. Like, Knuckles in the previous games, he's just not been the character that we previously knew him in games like Sonic Adventure and even in Sonic 3, which I've missed that. I've missed that a lot. And seeing him in this movie acting the way that he used to be, it was so refreshing. And even at the end of the movie, he was just so funny. I love this depiction of Knuckles, where they actually make him be the character that he once was. And I appreciate the filmmakers for taking the time to make sure that Knuckles is actually this strong echidna, and not just a strong guy that's actually really dumb. I mean, there is a bit of dumbness in some parts of his character. That's because he was all alone for most of his life, and I can justify that, because, well, if you haven't had any human contact or know about what's going on outside in the world, then you're not gonna know everything straight away. You're gonna be questioning everything. You're gonna just be... You're gonna be questioning everything a lot, and it's something that's very understandable. I think like a lot of people forget about this when it came to how Knuckles was characterized at the end. The film, it made sense. It made sense that Knuckles just didn't understand everything, like how to play baseball, for example. Like, come on. If he's been all alone for most of his life after losing his entire tribe, you would be questioning stuff. You wouldn't know what exactly to do. It's like when someone tries something new for a change, like say a video game that they've never played. They're gonna question how to do everything, and even try to understand it and to try and have fun, which of course is how they do Knuckles in the movie. So yeah, I'm happy with his characterization in the movie, and I think the film did a really good job at trying to establish Knuckles the way he was established originally in the games. Something that's been missing for quite some time. Jim Carrey coming back as Eggman in the movie, absolutely love him. I think I like a little bit more of how he was in the first movie, mainly just because of like all the humor that Jim Carrey brought to the movie. But this movie with Jim Carrey is still an absolute blast. Jim Carrey is just really funny, although I did cringe at one thing he did in the movie. Yes, I'm gonna have to bring it up. Jim Carrey flossed in the movie. Which, oh boy, I was not really expecting to see it again in the Sonic film. At least when Knuckles was there, he did not understand what was going on. Which, I'm kind of like that. I'm kind of like that, like whenever I see a meme. Like when I see it's new and I don't know the context to it, I'm like Knuckles in that situation. But yeah, Jim Carrey in this movie, he's really funny. I love how he's more like Eggman in this movie, which the Eggman aspect of this movie, the second film does it so much better than the first one. But in terms of the humor with Jim Carrey, I think the first movie did Jim Carrey better. I just really love it because his moments are just very quotable, and I always get a laugh out of him every single time I see him on screen. He's just that good. Yes, the flossing makes me cringe a bit, but at the same time, it feels like something that Jim Carrey would do, so I'm not too bothered by it, but still seeing the flossing again in a second Sonic movie, I'm actually curious if the third movie's gonna do it now. We got to see more of Lee Majdoub as Agent Stone, which that was nice. He was one of the human characters I really like, and yeah, just seeing him in this movie, it was nice, even though it still wasn't for as much, but I will say it was a lot more than when it was in the first movie. So seeing Agent Stone come back, it was nice. I really liked it. I can't really say too much about what character development he had, because he didn't really have character development in this movie, but given how there was so many characters, I guess it was kind of justified that he wasn't really a focused character to have character development. But given that he may be in the third movie, I'm curious as to see what they may do with him in there. All of the other human characters in this film, such as Tom, Maddie, Rachel, and her fiance, yeah, they were good. Like, Tom was still being Tom. I'd say he's trying to be more like a father figure to Sonic. Maddie, of course, being like the mother to Sonic. Yeah, they're dynamic in the film. It's basically how I figured it would have played out, so I'm not upset. I'm not amazed. I'm just satisfied. Rachel in this movie. In the first movie, I was not very fond of her. I think I said that in my re-review. I think I did. I can't remember, I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't watch my re-review of the first movie in preparation for this. But yeah, Rachel in the first movie, I wasn't really too fond of her because she was basically just like the, oh, break up with Tom, you don't, he doesn't deserve you. You should have someone so much better. But no, in this film, in Sonic 2, she was so much better. I actually really liked her character in this film. Her character, it still has a bit of what she goes through in the first movie, but at least this time she's not trying to like convince Maddie to get rid of Tom. Because they say to bury that hatchet. As soon as I saw that bit, I was like, oh my god, they actually fixed her character. This is so much better. I actually like this. I actually like Rachel this time. And honestly, there was a point in the movie where she just snaps at her fiance, and that was actually really funny. even though that could have been in like any other movie that they could have done this plot in, I think that she was really funny in this movie. And I really like Rachel, and I'm curious as if she'll be in the third movie. If she is, I'm hoping to see more of how she was in this movie. The last character to talk about is Rachel's fiance, who I can't remember the actor's name. I'll put like a bit of text to who it was. Yeah, just being a fiance, showing like how cool he is and all that to Tom. And then there's the plot twist, which midway into the movie we find out that the entire wedding was basically a catfish setup for Gunn to try and grab Sonic and even Tails. And we find out that the fiance is actually an agent for Gunn on the Operation Catfish situation. So yeah, it was kind of expected, I'll be honest. You know, I thought it was kind of predictable that they did that. But of course, seeing the inclusion of Gunn in the movie, that's another piece of the Sonic lore. I think, yeah, that was pretty cool. I really like that. The whole thing about the whole catfish thing, and then later on the agent decides to be falling in love for Rachel. I think, yeah, I kind of saw it coming too. But at the same time, I think that was a pretty happy ending for Rachel and the fiancé. And I'm thinking probably by the third movie they're probably going to be married. Maybe. I'm not too, entirely sure on that. But we'll just have to wait and see when we see the third movie. Other things to talk about. The Death Egg robot battle. That was really cool. That was probably one of the best parts of the movie for me. And honestly, I knew they were going to do Supersonic near the end of the movie. And I think they did it in a way I was not expecting them to do it. And just seeing Supersonic on the big screen was just wow. Supersonic in those visuals and just being the coolest part of that movie. Supersonic, he's just fantastic. I love every single bit that we saw of him. And even the little joke that they do at the end, just before he goes back into being normal Sonic. That was just a really, really good moment in the movie. Especially when he does like the hand thing, where he stops a punch from the Death Egg robot. I really like that bit. And even when he taps on the head or neck or whatever, which was reminiscent of Sonic 06. I really like that part. That was just so good. Sonic at the end calling Tom Dad. Hot take. I thought that bit was really cute. I really liked that. I don't care if people think that was so cliched or really annoying or out of character for Sonic. I am happy that he calls him Dad. I really like that bit. Because, earlier in the movie, he didn't want to just think of him as a dad. He wanted to think of him as, a really good friend. But now he sees him as a dad, and I think that's really cute. And I kind of want to see, or hear Sonic call Maddie Mum. Or even since Tails and Knuckles are basically living with them now, have Tails call Maddie Mum. That would just be the cutest thing. I really want that now. The mid-credits scene. Let's talk about that. Okay, so I honestly predicted it was going to be Metal Sonic that was going to be teased. I honestly thought Eggman had survived the crash and potentially just decided to make a robot version of Sonic, in which would be the creation of Metal Sonic, which, yeah, I think they should do that. I think that should be something that the third movie could still do. But then, when I heard the lady agent from Gunn talking and saying about files that were deep within their archives from over 50 years, as soon as she said that 50 years, I knew what was up. And then, when the little capsule thingy was rising and I saw the shoes, my jaw dropped when I saw Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, I was not expecting Shadow in the slightest. I honestly thought it was going to be Metal Sonic that was going to be teased next, not Shadow. So I'm really curious as to what they're going to do for the third movie in regards of Shadow being in there, and who they're going to get to voice him, and to how well they're going to have him be in the movie. I'm really excited, and I'm also staying very, very curious. Visually, this movie was really nice to look at. Like the CGI models, especially for Sonic and Tails, they look different. Like, Tails is definitely different when you look at him compared to the mid-credit scene of the first movie. You could tell he had a slight redesign, which I think the redesign looks much better. It definitely fits his proportions and all that a lot better. But I still think the original design still had a nice look to it. Sonic, you could tell he was updated just a little bit, and plus he's actually a little bit more taller than when he was in the first movie. You could tell just by watching the bits where, like, Tom is, like, kneeling down to Sonic. You could tell, like, he's grown since the first movie, which I really like that detail. Knuckles, he's fantastic. Honestly, I think he's the best looking CG character in the movie. Like he's the most accurate looking. He has the correct colors. His eyes were already split. Yeah, he's honestly the best looking character in the movie. He's fantastic to look at. The music in the movie, yeah, they still use pop music and all that, which I'm a little disappointed about that, because I was hoping for some Sonic music and all that, but the music score by Tom Hollenberg, or Junkie XL, whatever you prefer to call him, he did good. I honestly like the score to the Sonic movies. I genuinely do. I never really had a problem with the score to the Sonic movies. And the score in the second movie, I really, really liked it. It's actually some music that I really enjoyed. And then the song, done by Kid Cudi, I believe that's how I pronounce it. I might have butchered it. I apologize if I did. Yeah, his song was really good. Stars in the Sky. I really like that song. I prefer it over Speed Me Up, but I do like Speed Me Up, though. But Stars in the Sky is just a much better song to listen to. Like, I'm hoping we get another song like it in the third movie, depending on the direction that the third movie's gonna go in. But yeah, I really like the song. It was really, really good. Overall, the second Sonic movie is absolutely fantastic, and it's even better than the first movie, by far. It includes a lot more lore to the video games. It includes just the stuff I wanted in the film, and it honestly is the best video game movie I have seen. I don't care if anyone else thinks that another video game movie is better or more faithful to the video games, because I'm honestly talking about myself. I don't speak for anyone else. That this movie is my favorite video game movie of all time now. I'm curious as to see if Sonic 3 could beat that, but I'm not going to get my hopes up if it doesn't. I am definitely going to want to watch Sonic 2 many more times in the future. I don't know how many times exactly, because I've definitely watched the first movie a lot of times. I'm going to see if I can get the second movie to catch up with the amount of times I've watched the first movie, so we'll just see in the near future or something. But yeah, guys, that'll be it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below what you thought of the second Sonic movie, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe, support me on Patreon, become a channel member, follow me on all my social media links, which will be all linked down in the video description down below, and I'll see you all in my next video. So until then, take care, bye bye.
Here, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing to Speed Force Productions for more. Catch you later!